Hello everybody and welcome to another Elder Scrolls Online role video with me, Sherman. Today guys, we're going to be taking a look at the Dark Paladin and the Healer role. And this time you guys get to see how it can work as a healer and its effectiveness. So let's get started. As you guys can see, again, Dark Paladin character, Dark Elf Necromancer. We have 64 points in the Magicka. This is going to give us our maximum Magicka resource pool. We have 3,108 Magicka with a 26,000 health, 22,000 stamina, and a 1,029 magic recovery. Our spell damage is coming in at 2790 with a spell critical of 35%. We have that higher spell damage to improve our healing capabilities because we have a lower crit rate. So we want that higher spell damage to make sure that we are getting the most effect out of our heals. Now we do have weapon damage and we do have weapon critical, but that's okay. We're not here to be a stamina DPS or anything else. We're here to be a healer. So let's get into the rest of that right now. And we are going to jump over to our tools that we're using. So we are still using the Tri-Stat food for this. You can use Witch Mother's Potent Brew if you want more magic recovery. And I will show you what that looks like so you guys can see. And if you wanted to, you could even use blue food. The blue yeah. So this is what your character would look like with Dubious Camera or Witch Mother's Potent Brew. You would drop to 30,000 Magicka, 24k health, 1426 magic recovery. That's a lot of mag recovery for a character in heavy armor, and it's going to help you out. Or you can use the banana thing to get the more max magicka and more health, and you can take advantage of that. It's up to you. All right, going over the sets, we are using the Thorvikin set. This set is mainly here to help aid our group with the Minor Maim and Minor Defile. Because no matter what, you're still going to take damage, no matter how good your tank is. A healer, damage dealer is always going to take damage. So this is just a way to help you and the group. The next set we're using is Hunting's Rage. We have this here mainly for if we're playing stamina, but it can help out even in this because you can bash enemies and take advantage of that higher weapon damage and weapon crit even when you bash an enemy. If you're trying to interrupt them, so after they've been stunned or something, you can walk up and you can bash them. You can take advantage of that higher damage output. The next thing we have down here is Rattle Cage. This is our primary source of spell damage, and it gives us major sorcery at all times, increasing our spell damage by 20%. We don't have to use a spell pot for this. We can actually just use blue potions if we want, or Magicka potions if we want with this build. I am using, for this though, I am using the spell power pots from the Crown store because I am on PTS. Alright, going over the traits and stuff. On the gear we're using 3 Invigorating. This is going to give us higher recovery. As you can see, it gives us 33% more, or 33 more magic recovery. That's how we can break that 1,000 mark. And we are using the small pieces of Sturdy. This is going to allow us to block still and save resources on our stamina because we do have a lower stamina pool depending on what type of food we're using and such. So this just allows us to block resources and save our resources better. Because even as a healer, you block. So, oh my gosh. So on the big pieces, Invigorating. The smaller pieces, Sturdy. And then the enchantments we're using are 3 Tri-Stats. This is going to help us have a wide range of Magicka, stamina, and health, so we can take advantage of those pools for our character. We have Magicka in the shoulders and in the belt. We have stamina in the gloves and the boots. Now remember, this is a character that is made to be versatile to play any role necessary when it's needed. Normally, you can play this as a tank, you can play it as a healer, you can play it as a damage dealer. It's up to you. Alright, moving on to the other enchants we have down here. We have 2 Trirune traits on the jewelry. This is going to give you that greater pool again of Magicka, health, and stamina. And as you can see, we have 1 weapon damage, 1 spell damage. This is basically just to give us a little bit more oomph for our character. But if you, depending on how you play the character, you do not need the spell damage and weapon damage here. You can put whatever you want here that affects you as a player. Moving on, we have an infused with magic recovery. This is just basically so we can take advantage of our capabilities to heal. We want that higher healing capability. So using something like Witch Mother's Potent Brew, we can actually take advantage of, because now we have a high mag recovery and we can get the benefits of that stuff out of it if we need to. Alright, moving on to the weapons. We are using a Lightning Nirnhone Staff. This is just going to allow us to do more damage overall. And as you can see, we have a weapon and spell damage enchant on here. This is just going to boost our damage capabilities with this tool. Moving on to the back bar, we have a Restoration Staff with Powered. This is increasing our healing done. And as you can see, we have an Absorb Magicka enchant here. This is just going to help us with our resource management, because we heavy attack to get our resources back, because we are in heavy armor. This is a 5 heavy, 1 medium, 1 light build. Alright, now moving on to our skills. Starting with class stuff, make sure you unlock all your class passives, because you never know what kind of skills you might want to use in a certain situation. Weapon skills, this is a healer right now, so it's wise to start with Destruction Staff and Restoration Staff. This way you can take advantage of all the tools in those 2 things and learn all the passives. Now, if you're leveling the character this way as a healer, focus on Restoration Staff and Destruction Staff. That's going to be your best options until you can get it to where this is. Next up, light armor passives, top 3, medium armor, or the light armor, the reason why we have them. This gives you a little bit of snare reduction, sprint cost, reduced sprint costs. This gives you more magic recovery and reduce magic costs. This is going to give you more spell resistance, just for survivability purposes. Medium armor, dexterity. This increases your weapon critical. Not really necessary, but since you are wearing 1 medium, it's wise to have this unlocked for when you have the purpose of playing a stamina character, stamina DPS character. This gives you stamina recovery and stam reduced cost. We don't use any of those as a healer, but you still have access to it for later. Athletics. This one reduces your dodge roll cost. This is going to be really good for you later, for if you need to dodge roll. Since we are playing in heavy armor, it's wise to unlock all the heavy armor passives. They give you a lot of different things. Resolve gives you higher resistances. Constitution gives you health recovery. It also gives you a way of returning resources when you take damage. Juggernaut gives you max health. Revitalize gives you increased magic and stamina return of your fully charged heavy attacks. And Rapid Mending increases your healing received by 8%. So it allows you for greater, survivability. Soul Magic, Soul Summons, and Soul Lock. Those are the 2 I like there. Fighters Guild. I unlock all the passives because you never know if you're going to want to use one of these skills. So if I want to use Turn Undead in this form, I can do that. And I can actually take advantage of it for my group. So, and that's if I need it. Mages Guild, again, all the passives, just because you never know, what skills you might want to use. You might, I'm using Inner Light, so I'm taking advantage of the 5% Max Magicka plus the 2% from this, so I can have that benefit on my character. But if I do need any of these other skills, I do have access to them. Psijic Order, same thing, you can unlock the skills you want to use and the passives. Undaunted, same thing, unlock the passives and unlock the skills that you want to use on your character. Now with this one, I went with a lot of different synergies, as you can see, or tools, like Overflowing Altar, Mystic Orb, Spike Bone Shield, and Inner Beast. This is just so I have those tools available for when I'm playing other roles. Assault, same thing, unlock the skills you're going to find most useful, and the same thing here. Dark Elf, unlock all the passives, and then Alchemy, Medicinal Use, Provisioning, Gourmand, and Connoisseur. Now I'm going to go over the skills I have on my bar. You do not have to use these skills, these are just suggestions. Starting with the first skill, this is a really cool skill. It can help your group out in a big way. So this is called Empowering Grasp. This one, you summon skeletal claws from the ground, snaring enemies for 5 seconds and inflicting minor maim for 5 seconds, reducing their damage done by 15%. Hitting your allies grants them empower for 5 seconds, increasing the damage of their next light attack by 40%. Hitting your skeletal mage or spirit mender enhances them for 5 seconds, increasing their effectiveness by 40%. So if I have my mender equipped, which is over here, and I have this equipped, I can actually take advantage of this thing with it. But I don't have it equipped right now. The next ability we have on our bar is Blockade of Storms. We have this here mainly to keep our the ability of off balance to go off. And the reason why we're using a weapon damage enchant with our character is because when we use this Blockade of Storms, if you watch, I can put it down, and you'll see that there's a little enchantment icon on my character that shows that I have increased, well, it's not shown there. Okay, let me get it to proc. For some reason, it's not wanting to. But usually it'll proc your weapon damage enchant on you, and it boosts your weapon, and there we go. Weapon and spell damage. This is just going to allow you to have greater spell and weapon damage, so your other abilities do more. And they're more effective for you and your group. The next ability we have is Mystic Orb. This is here to basically give you another synergy for your group, because you don't have a lot of synergies, or you do, but you're not taking advantage of all your synergies, so this is a great tool for that. This one, projected globe of annihilation that slowly floats forward, dealing 1,298 magic damage every 1 second to nearby enemies. All allies near the globe can activate the combustion synergy, causing the orb to explode, dealing 7,844 magic damage to nearby enemies and restoring 3,960 magicka or stamina to the ally, whichever maximum is higher. So in this case, if I were to activate the synergy, I'd get magicka back. If somebody else was more stamina focused, they'd get stamina back. So this is a really good tool for that purpose, to give your resources to your allies to help them sustain. The next tool we have is Overflowing Altar. This one, conjure a fountain of blood to apply minor lifesteal to enemies in the area, healing you and your allies for 60 health every 1 second when damaging them. Allies in the area can activate the Blood Feast synergy, healing for 71% of their max health. I really love this altar thing. It's really cool. The next ability we have is Inner Light. We have this here for the max magicka and the major prophecy. This is how we get our spell crit as high as we can, and that's as high as it gets us, 35%. But we have a really high spell damage that goes with it. So next ability we have on our bar is the Replenishing Barrier. This is just kind of like, again, one of those times where you never know, and if things are going down really bad, it's your oh crap button. And it gives you 10% more magic recovery on the front bar. Moving on to the back bar, we do have our Resto Staff, and with it comes some skills. We have our Illustrious Healing. This one, summon Restoring Spirits with your staff, healing you and your allies in the target area for 2283 health, and additional 2283 health every second for 4 seconds. So this has a long range to it. It has a lot of healing to it, and it's just really good overall. The next one we have is Rapid Regeneration. Again, really good heal, like fast heal over time. This one, share your staff's life energy, healing you and up to 2 nearby allies for 19,200 over 16 seconds. It's just really good heal. Then we have our Enduring Undeath. This is a class skill from the Necromancer. This one, release residual fragments of fallen souls at the location, healing you and your allies for 7,281 health. Consumes a corpse on cast to continue to heal you and your allies in the area for 7,035 health over 5 seconds. You can consume up to 5 additional corpses on cast, with each corpse extending the duration of the heal over time by 5 seconds. So the more corpses you have around, the better this works. And that's why I said, make sure you unlock your class skills, because you never know. Like, you might want to use your Spirit Mender. Maybe you don't. It's up to you. The next skill you have here is Healing Ward. This one calls on your staff's strength to protect you and your lowest health ally around you with a damage shield that absorbs 6,150 damage. The shield's strength is increased by 300% depending on the severity of the target's wounds. And when the shield expires, the target is healed for 125% of the shield's remaining strength. We have Inner Light, again, for the Max Magic and the Major Prophecy. And then the last ability we have is Sturdy Horn. This is going to help us boost our Max Mag and Stamina of our group. It's also going to apply Minor Resolve and Minor Ward to our allies for 39 seconds. And that is the skills on our bar. Let's go ahead and jump over to our CP. Starting with the red tree, you're going to see that I've reset them since my tank showing of this. We have 66 in Ironclad. This reduces the damage you take from direct damage attacks by 22%. Moving on over here, we have 31 into Thick Skin, reducing damage taken from damage over time effects by 13%. 56 into Hardy, reducing damage taken from physical, poison, and disease damage by 12%. And then 56 into Elemental Defender, reducing damage taken from Flame, Frost, Shock, and Magic damage by 12%. Moving on, we have 40 into Bastion, increasing the effectiveness of our damage shields by 16%. 19 into Quick Recovery, increasing our healing received by 5%. And 2 into Heavy Armor Focus, just to boost our physical resistance, to keep it more in line with our spell resist, so that way we're more equalized. Moving on to the green tree, we have 40 into Warlord. This reduces our break free cost by 16%. It saves us stamina. Sprinter reduces the sprint cost by 10%. 16 into Bashing Focus, reducing our bash cost by 10%. And then moving on to the middle tree, we have 43 into Magic Recovery. This increases our Magic Recovery by 10%, and 75 into Tenacity. This is going to increase our magic stamina of our fully charged heavy attacks by 14%. Since we are wearing heavy armor, you want to take advantage of this. Moving on, we have 40 into Tumbling. This reduces the dodge roll cost by 16%, and that one piece of medium armor that we wear actually applies to this as well. We have a 20% reduced cost. We have 40 into Shadow Ward. This reduces our block cost by 16, and with this, all the 4 sturdy pieces, this just helps us save our resources and stamina if we need to block a lot in an encounter. Moving on to the blue tree, we have 43 into Bless. This increases your healing done by 10%. We have 40 into Elfborn, increasing your critical damage and critical healing done with magic abilities by 16%. We have 56 into Elemental Expert. This increases Flame, Frost, Shock, and Magic damage by 12%. And then in the middle tree here, we have 35 into Staff Expert. This is going to increase our light and heavy attacks of our Destruction Staves and Restoration Staves by 20%, along with 56 into Master at Arms, increasing your damage done with direct damage attacks by 20%. And then over here we have 40 into Thaumaturge, increasing your damage done with damage over time effects by 16%. So you don't have to set your CP up this way as the healer if you don't want to. This is just by choice, but it's a very flexible setup. So that's why I did this. Alright, now that you guys have seen the CP, how about I show you how well this thing can heal? Alright. So what we're going to do is we're going to jump over into Depths of Malatar. I did this with this on a tank. I'm going to show you with the healer. And I'm just going to go in here and I'm just going to show you the effectiveness of this thing's healing capabilities. And how well it can work in a group dynamic. Because your job is to protect and support your group. So, or protect and heal your group. That's the name of the game. I do really like the fact that I can do this with one character. It really does allow for a more versatile gameplay when you play a character, when you can take advantage of all the tools available. Alright, moving on. Let's get over here so we can do this. Alright, so here we are in the room with the enemies. This is on Veteran, just so you guys can see the difficulty. This is one of the latest dungeons. And remember what I was talking about, oh crap buttons? Oops, I hit that button wrong. It's okay though. And if I need to dodge roll, I have stamina to do that. As you can see, I also have stamina to block. And because of the way I have my character set up, I can actually block more effectively because my character's set up to block more effectively. And see, the nice thing about it is I can actually take advantage of that the heavy armor and that pool, because I can heal for about 1,400 from it just by doing light attacks and stuff. So, but if I need to heal, like really, I can just heavy attack, get minor or major maim, and I can take advantage of that as well. So. And with me having the minor maim up from the helmet, it really helps out with my group because I have it there on me, so I can have it around me, and then I also have that where I can send that out and it applies minor maim to the enemies even at range. So this way, they're still going to get minor maim on them, and it's going to stay on them more effectively because the tank can't apply minor maim to everyone all the time. So my abilities help the tank, it helps the group, it helps everyone. And there we go, and that was the first group of enemies within the Depths of Malatar. I can promise you that this thing will work in here pretty well as a healer. You just have to watch your resource management, and you have to learn how to play the build. If you can play the build, it's really effective. And that's pretty much it for the Dark Paladin healer role. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, you guys know what's coming next. Go ahead and hit that like button. If you guys want to see more videos by me, you can subscribe. Other than that, thank you all for watching. Until next time, have a wonderful day, and this guy might see you in game. Bye.